Okay, everybody. Today we're going to look at Boiler Room. This is William Gilchrist from Konsyg, and we have Kyle Hegarty here. We're going to be reviewing movies and how accurate these sales pitches are and these sales calls. Kyle?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm hoping there's more suits, more suits and ties already. I like it already.
Proper, guys. I'm ready for these finance-related calls. Let's see.
I'm really busy, sir.
No, I understand.
Doctor, I'm really busy here.
Okay, real quick, right away. I love the fact that it's loud in there, and he's holding his ear because he's
immediately agreeing. Yeah, like 100%. It's there were times I remember being under the desk. I remember all that crap, and that is 100% true because there's just all that ambient noise. You're doing whatever you can just to hear what's going on the phone.
Myself, look.
We're gonna come back to you in 1 month with one idea and one idea only. If you like what we have to say, great. We'll do business. If not,
Worst case scenario, you're gonna hear yourself a new business.
Last time you did this about the fact that these guys are all dressed up. I love the fact that these guys are all in suits. These guys have at least, So I'm a fan of the suits. I think we need to bring that back into remote work. We should all be formally dressed.
You know how I feel about suits. Okay, as long as there's no tie coming up. I understand a shirt, but like, my God, a tie up. I think biology just says it's going to be so difficult.
useless. We're gonna part as friends. That's fair, right?
Of what?
Doc, are you working with $1 million
In the market right now.
Who is this again?
And tell me something. You're a doctor. Have you ever heard of a drug called Benadryl?
It's being manufactured by MSC Pharmaceuticals.
No.
Well, listen, okay? Listen, it's in the 3rd stage of FDA approval, all right?
Word is it's going to be approved within the next 3 months. And it could be tomorrow for all I know.
But, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Okay, so hold on. So let's start talking about the situation because I think, this guy, I like what he's doing. He's stuttering. He's not quite sure of himself. You can tell he's a young sales rep. He's just trying to get his legs. And he's got somebody and he's a little bit unsure of himself. So I'm all in and he's looking good.
He even has the stutter properly. It's pretty good acting, actually, because that stutter, right when you got them on and you don't want them to leave, like that.
Without knowing the context of this, you can already tell this is a young dude who's just starting out. He's trying to figure out his voice.
And you're real busy over there, so why don't I just send you out
The information you requested about the firm.
No, wait. Forget the info.
Well, let's talk about this now.
What was the name of that drug again?
Could you hold on for 1 second?
I'm going to get
A senior broker who's a little more familiar with that particular stock, all right? Hold on a second, okay? 1 second.
Okay, this is the classic escalate to the more senior rep move, kind of lead generation-esque, right? So he was doing a lead. That's literally lead generation, qualifying, getting the interest. I don't think he really did the whole full qualification process where he didn't do the budget authority need timeline, but he got in. He got some interest. I don't think he did any of the band.
This is a quick bump and run type of approach. So I think he's looking for anyone live who is showing a little bit of potential. I'm okay with this. It's interesting in the last decade or two, as call centers have all gone offshore, they still do this. They do a hot transfer, and sometimes they will transfer, and it rarely works. So they'll get a call center in the Philippines or India, and if you get somebody who is a live hot prospect, they will try and transfer you to the other side of the planet to a senior person or wherever it goes. It hardly ever works, but they still try and do it remotely, which is hilarious.
Real quick, love the suit by Vin Diesel, actually.
See, you're coming around.
A little bit. I like the suit swagger that Vin has.
This is very Hollywood. Like this is very theatrical. But go ahead, continue.
I love the jump over the table. If some of my guys could leap over a table for a deal, I'm with it.
And if it's bringing you around to the outfits, then I'm with it. I'm supportive.
Hard.
So his name's Dr. Jacobson. I'd say from the sound of it, he's definitely...
Well, I don't want to hear it, kid.
Okay.
Okay, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. You need to know everything before you get on the call.
No. I love the attitude. Like, don't give me the details. If you're calling me over here, I know what I'm doing. I love that.
I'm there already. I don't need to hear it, kid.
Hi, Dr. Jacobs. This is Chris Marlin over at JT Marlin.
Marlin?
Right, he's my father.
He's my mother.
So my associate tells me you're interested in one of our stocks.
I will call her back. Yes, MSC sounds like it might be interesting.
Might be. Might be doesn't sell stock at the rate MSC.
So we used to do this. So back in 2002, 2003, with where we used to use phones. I don't know, Will, if you're familiar with that technology, but
What is that?
we would, if you had a good prospect, you would try and get into that conference room, go on to speakerphone while you still were on the speaker on the actual phone, so that people could hear the conversation. It was I always felt weird about it because I was never confident that the tech was working, but the point was for that everybody to hear so they could learn from the back and forth conversation. So that part is, I'd say that's legit.
He's going for it, Dr. Jacobs. We're talking very high volume here.
Oh, well, I still have to run it by my people.
That's great, Doc, if you want to miss yet another opportunity here and watch your colleagues get rich doing clinical trials, then don't buy a share and hang up the phone.
Creating urgency, right?
Clicking time. Yeah, the ticking time bomb. And
Gotta happen now. Otherwise, it's never gonna happen.
Sure.
Hold on a second now. I didn't say that. I just want to talk about it some more.
Honestly, Doc, I don't have the time. This stock is blowing up right
Oh,
now.
it's
Whole firm-
the reverse.
Yeah, I don't have the time. You know what? Like, hey, if you want this, it's there. It's a great opportunity, but not everybody
It's
wants
not
it.
for everybody. It's probably, you know what? It's probably not your thing.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Who does?
Totally understand.
Not everybody wants $1 million cash.
I gotta go because this place is going crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
Firm's going nuts. Hold on, let me open up the door to my office.
There we go. You called it.
See that, Doc? That's my trading floor. Now I have 1 million calls to make to 1 million other doctors who are already
This
in
is
the know.
terrible. Terrible behavior.
It is right now. I'm sorry.
But I appreciate the teamwork. Everybody knew on call exactly what to do.
This is why the salespeople get such a bad reputation. It's because of movies like this. That maybe we'll send this. We can talk it later. But like this is, they're using legitimate techniques just for bad reasons.
Well, they're exaggerating legitimate techniques
Yeah.
in a way that makes it look horrible, right? But it's usually not that sinister. But this is great.
Okay, let's do this.
Now, since you're new,
Very interesting thing not to overlook: the power of silence.
100%.
You say what you need to say, and then don't say anything else. When you start to oversell, you come in later, oh, well, let me explain why. That's usually the problem. But if you let them think it through, it's very powerful.
Classic negotiation moves. First person who talks is the is worse off.
Exactly.
go any higher than 2,000 shares. I'm sorry.
2,000?
Are you nuts? That is way beyond what I was thinking.
2,000?
Jesus. Listen, I'm curious. Why can't you
Tell me any more than that.
The silence again, right? That's a good move.
This is anchoring, the anchoring effect. So you're kind of throwing a very outrageous number as your starting gambit. But this is another version of anchoring, which is setting a super high expectation, but then allowing him. He's doing the prospect is doing all the work. He's negotiating with in his own head. So this is good.
I see that.
Well, we like to establish a relationship with our clients on something small before we get to the more serious trades.
Monkey's paw.
Anchoring.
Is that a monkey's paw? Isn't that a monkey's paw? Isn't that an actual thing?
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, monkey's paw. The idea is that it's a nautical term. It's a rope that it looks like a monkey's fist, where the idea was that for the giant cruise ships that would come into dock, they'd have these enormous ropes that they would tie up the ship with, but they were so heavy nobody could get them overboard. So you'd have to use a very small rope that you would throw, and that would be the starting point, and that would tie to the bigger rope that you pull the entire ship into. So a monkey's paw in a sales context is a small wedge offering that opens up the campaign for a larger deal.
Mm.
Let me show you several percentage points on this small trade, and then we'll talk about doing future business.
That sounds good. Give me the 2,000 shares.
Done.
You sure you can't do any better on this one?
I'm sorry, Dr. Jacobs. I can't. I'm sorry.
Oh, all right,
That
we'll
calm,
start with this trade.
isn't
then.
that calm?
Great.
voice?
I promise.
You got to be very calm with, regardless of it's a big deal or a medium deal. You have to stay medium.
We'll swing
Yeah.
for the fences on the next one. Do you want that confirmation sent to your office or your mansion?
Ego playing, awesome, right? Channeling the a little bit of ego, a little bit of dreaming, getting them to like dream a bit. I like.
Very funny, Mr. Marlin.
Let me put my secretary on, and she'll take down your info. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Done and done.
The support. I love it. I love it. I love it. That's how it should be. I mean, considering that this movie is definitely not a positive depiction of what sales really is, I think that call is really fascinating because
Offer your
you're
customers
right.
local pickup when you start selling online.
We're going in,
What are,
guys.
these
Anyway.
sales pitches? These salesmen never stop talking.
Yeah, they always go. But like, I think what's really funny about this is that, you know, he's using legitimate tactics, but it's an exaggerated way. And it's actually like a berserker negative version of what happens every day, you know?
We in the last episode, we looked at the Will Smith one where I think his purpose, whatever he was doing or setting up for, I think it seemed like he was selling something that was more legitimate. Which I like that, right? But here the problem is that so many sales related movies or those scenes usually depict some type of negative scam or grift.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge, because the tools, to your point, the tools that are being used there are totally legitimate, but they're tools. And so you could use tools for bad things, or you could use tools for positive things. And that's where I think a lot of salespeople get really bad reputations, or at least the sales industry gets a bad reputation. So, you know, I feel like this entire thing that you're doing is just you're not helping Will.
Well, you got to think about it. You got to think about it though. Like, it's kind of like Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. You know, and I think that, you know, he did actually a lot of tactics that are very clear for conversation control and trying to close a deal, but you can tell that it wasn't from a genuine place. And I think the salespeople need to be genuine in how they go out there and use some of these tactics.
I'll tell you this, if I were to think about those two people who were on the phone, so the kid and then the Vin Diesel dude, whatever his name is, that's how out of it I am. I like the kid, the earlier guy. I liked his, you know, he had a little bit of naivete there, and he had a little bit more just kind of roughness around the edges.
It's relatable, right? It's relatable.
It's much more relatable. The other guy was just a killer. In fact, there was just thinking about it, the doctor like backs into a little office. He looks like a trapped animal. I mean, that's what I think that's what they're probably visually showing. It's terrible. I love it.
No, I totally agree. I think that that they definitely did good acting on this in terms of, I can tell that they probably really talked to people on Salesforce because there was a natural demeanor, you know?
I think that this is a hyper glamorized negative or positive, well, negative version of a boiler room in this moment. So what's your score on this one?
Look, from a tactical perspective, I'll give it a 8 out of 10. From a ethical perspective, I give it a 1 out of 10. Which, if you were to kind of average it out, I'd give it around a 6 or a 6 to 5 in terms of just general, you know.
Sure, yeah, I'd agree with you. I think I'm gonna go a 1. 6.5. I'm gonna go 6.5 out of 10 on this one, because I think that there was a lot of over drama, the everything about it was just bigger, and I give it a 6.5 out of 10 because I think that you've got all of the pieces there, and they're all legitimate pieces. There's all legitimate tools going on. I think when you put it together in this Hollywood bubble, it just gets all super shiny and super aggressive, and a little bit, that's where it starts not having the same reality feel anymore. So that's why I would kind of lower it down the chain a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely sales on steroids in the very, very interesting space. I guess that's why they call it boiler room.
Are we converting you to the dress code?
We're converting to the Vin Diesel dress code.
Okay.
I thought that was cool. The black on black with the black tie, you know.
He was using the
quasi-
phone. I thought he handled the phone really in a cool, fluid
He
way.
had it out like this, you know.
If he was going to do that with his little headset, you think that would have been good? Like, been like, oh, you know, here's like, you know, you think that would like be like, oh,
Well, our
yeah.
headsets, I mean, Kyle, we're one epoch beyond that. We don't do the cords anymore. All headsets are Bluetooth now. We just walk around, you know, that's the key thing.
How, you know, see, you gotta, this is the old, you need the old school technology. This little stuff is crap. This is,
I mean, that's how it is. It makes things a little bit clearer.
again, we're going to have to agree to disagree on some of the tech and the generational challenges that we've got on this series.
This is a generational thing that we're dealing with here, but we scored it kind of the same, which is funny.
Agreed.
All right, off to the next one.